welcome back to Niche Tea, where we talk about drama happening in communities you may not be a part of. I recently had the dubious luck of stumbling upon one of my videos being reposted on Reddit, and I wanted to address something specific about it. The reason that I'm always leaning forward so much in these videos is because I am at a standing desk. And I'm standing on a walking pad, and this is what I do my work day to day, and this is comfortable for me for typing purposes. But for these videos, I have this phone propped up against one of my monitors, and I physically have to reach forward to get to the button. So I was just doing this because it's easy, like my hip is jutted out to the side, and it's actually very comfortable, and it does not hurt my back at all. This does mean sometimes if I'm wearing a top that is in any way low cut, I'm going to be showing cleavage. I'm not actively trying to do that necessarily. I'm wearing whatever I'm wearing at the time. If I think it looks cute, I'll wear it on camera. But I do understand that I have a pretty large chest, so if it's weird for you, I apologize. I'll try and be more conscious of it. So last time we talked about the introduction of female custodies within Warhammer 40k lore as part of the 10th edition. Today we're talking about another game update that people did not like and did not get a good fan response, but in a completely different game, which is Pokemon Go, which you may recall is my niche. As a reminder, Pokemon Go is a mobile game built on top of functionally Google Maps, where you make your own trainer and run around catching Pokemon. You can also do lots of other stuff with both your friends and other people you happen to meet who play, like taking down large raid bosses, fun stuff like that. The game infamously launched to a very big fanfare in 2016, where people went a little crazy for a few months and then a bunch of people dropped, but there's actually still a pretty sizable fan base of people who play. And from a meta perspective, it's become a little bit of a joke that Niantic kind of just does shit. Over the years, they made a number of changes that have had a good amount of backlash to them. Some they've rolled back, some they haven't. For example, when the pandemic started, they enhanced the distance that you could be from things to be able to interact with them, and then they tried to undo that years later, and everyone collectively was like, no! They did roll that one back. However, another change they made during the pandemic was that if you use incense, which is a thing that creates more spawns around you of Pokemon, originally, the way incense worked, you had to be walking. But then during the pandemic, they were like, well, we don't want to encourage people to go outside, so we'll just make it work fine, even if you're not moving. They undid that, and they kept that undone. Stuff like that. They changed prices of stuff so they can make more money, etc. Most of the time, it makes sense why they're making the change that they are. So what happened? Well, they made another change. And this one kind of makes sense. I get what they were going for. The most recent forced update to the game, so you have to do the update if you want to keep playing, completely changed the basic design and style of the in-game avatars. Now, I don't recall them making this kind of change ever before. So this is going to be, in 8 years, the first time there's been like a major change to the way your in-game avatar is presented. Now, some people are just going to be upset about that. There's no getting around that, right? This is a big change. It's been a long time. Some people are not going to be comfortable with anything you change it to. They're just not going to want it to be changed at all. And there's always going to be stylistic differences in what people prefer. That type of thing is normal. And as part of the update, you can change things like your body type in-game. You can change your face shape in-game, things like that. So there's a lot of advantage to having this type of thing. The goal was to add more customizability so that it wasn't just this one base model. And they always were pretty limited. So I understand wanting to let your in-game avatar represent you more than it previously had. And that is how they marketed it. However, they're really just not that good. The side-by-sides people are showing of their new and old, like what they were ported over to, are hilarious, honestly. The body shapes are all weird. The faces have this insane uncanny valley thing going on with them. I want to tell the story also of how I came to find this, because I knew that this was coming and I knew people weren't happy with the avatars, but I was kind of just doing other things, so I wasn't super paying attention. So yesterday I log in, and I'm mostly logging in so that I can do some quick things that I usually do on a daily basis just for rewards and stuff. Things don't totally load for me sometimes because it depends on the network I'm in and how strong that connection is. So nothing visually loaded except a rocket balloon came in from the side. Rocket balloons are when Team Rocket come to you to fight you. So I immediately click on it because there's a badge you can get for fighting them enough, and I'm trying to build that badge up. You get the point. I go through the battle, I win, I'm clicking through all this stuff. I'm just trying to get it done so I can get back to something else. And then on the win screen, I get hit with this. I literally startled. I went, ah! Like, Something about the combination of the face and the stance, like it put me into fight or flight for like a hot second before I realized what was actually happening. Like, oh, okay, this is the new avatar. I went in and looked at some of the customization options because that was kind of the whole point. And all of the faces look even worse, in my opinion, than the default face I was given, which already kind of scared me a bit at first. And now it's like actually distracting, like she's there in the lower corner. I can't escape her anymore. And then for the bodies, I guess they're trying to not contribute to an unrealistic expectation of what body standards should be. But even in that lens, it feels like the models are maybe too androgynous, might be the way to put it. Also, I went through and they all have no ass. Why? That is so specific. Why would you do that to them? So the skin tones, especially the darker ones, have this weird like ashy look to them now. So people look ill. And then the clothes don't look like they fit anymore in a lot of cases, especially the specialized items, which are items people paid money, coins to get. So there's like clipping issues and stuff that just looks weird and wrong. A lot of avatars look like they need to go see a tailor. And because a lot of these were items that people bought from the store in the game with money, they're saying to Niantic, hey, I would like my money back for these because I hate how this looks on this avatar. Now, I want to take a second just to be fair that there may be some people who do really like this. It is hard to find positive conversation around it in the flood of negative conversation. I will say for myself, it's not the type of thing I'm gonna quit over or do anything crazy about. I don't really care. The avatar is the least important part of the actual game, in my opinion. But I can definitely understand, like, if you spent money to do something and then they did something that directly ruined that thing, being fairly unhappy. There hasn't been any response that I've seen from Niantic as far as like rolling this back or anything. Some people mentioned that potentially it could be that they don't have the rights to use the old design anymore. I'd be a little surprised by that, but I guess it could be possible. But I think they're still in the official art, those old designs. So I don't think that would be the case unless the official art is also not being used and I just didn't notice that somewhere. But people have reached out about getting their coins reimbursed for items they bought in the shop because they now hate the way that item looks, and they pretty much got a fairly generic response back that says, no, try customizing. No one is really surprised. That is very much on brand. Someone made the joke that they did this so that they could turn around and sell us back our old designs once everyone hates the new ones. And it's concerning that I didn't immediately balk at that idea as being possible. For now, it is what it is, and we either have to accept it or not. Like I said, it doesn't affect the gameplay, so at least for me, it is not that big of a deal. I will be interested to see what ends up happening with this. Again, like I've said, Niantic has rolled things back in the past, but they've been simpler rollbacks than this. So I feel like this might be a thing that they've committed to in a way that would not be easily rolled back. So I do think it's probably something that we just kind of got to go forward with. I just need a few days to get used to her weird gaze looking at me from the corner the whole time. Ugh.